You don't belong here. Old man, this is for real veterans. The security guard snapped at Walter Thompson, 89, trembling in his frayed navy peacoat. Onlookers turned away. Some smirked under their breath. Walt didn't argue, didn't protest. He just stepped back into the biting Savannah wind, clutching a folded flag to his heart. Moments later, heavy boots thundered across the marble plaza. A four-star general stormed through the memorial's doors, his voice booming. "Where's the hero you just turned away? If you believe sacrifice deserves honor, not scorn." Comment, respect below, and join us for a story that will stir your soul. On a crisp November morning in 2024, 89-year-old Walt Thompson stood outside the Liberty Veterans Memorial in Savannah, Georgia, his weathered hands clutching a folded American flag. The air carried the tang of salt from the nearby coast, and the grand marble arches of the memorial loomed before him, adorned with banners proclaiming, "Saluting our heroes." Today was Veterans Day, a sacred date Walt had marked in red ink, a pilgrimage he'd made every year since Korea in '53 and Vietnam in '70. At his age, Walt's steps were slow, his old navy peacoat frayed at the cuffs, a silver star pinned proudly to his chest. His eyes, though clouded, burned with memories of ship decks under fire, of comrades lost. He'd ridden 2 buses from his modest apartment, refusing his grandson's offer to drive. "This is my journey," he'd said, voice steady despite his trembling hands. As Walt approached the entrance, families bustled, and younger veterans flashed IDs. The security guard, a young man with a clipped tone, barely glanced up. Walt's heart sank. Would his service, etched in scars and stories, be enough to cross this threshold? Walt stepped forward, offering a warm, "Morning, son." The guard, Ethan, barely 25, flicked his eyes over Walt's faded peacoat and trembling hands. "ID, sir," he demanded, voice flat. Walt's smile held steady. "Served in Korea. 53 USS Oriskany, Vietnam. 70 Mekong Delta. No ID, but I brought this." He unfolded a yellowed photo himself, young and proud, with his Navy crew. Ethan glanced at it, unimpressed. No ID, no entry. Rules are rules. A woman nearby, wrapped in a designer scarf, muttered, "Probably just wants a free lunch." Laughter rippled through the crowd. Walt's chest tightened, but pride kept his spine straight. He stepped back, the flag pressed to his heart, the coastal wind biting deeper now. Unseen, a sharply dressed woman, Colonel Eleanor Hayes, 58, watched from across the plaza, her phone already buzzing with a call. Inside, the memorial ceremony began. Speeches, anthems, polished tributes to heroes. Walt sat on a nearby bench, the flag a shield against the cold and the sting of dismissal. His service, his scars, reduced to rules. Yet, hope flickered. Someone had seen him. Across Savannah, in a stately office, Colonel Eleanor Hayes briefed General Raymond Carter, 64, a decorated Navy veteran whose 4 stars gleamed with authority. An elderly veteran, Walter Thompson, was turned away at the memorial. She reported, voice taut, "Korea, Vietnam, Silver Star, no ID," so they dismissed him. Carter's jaw tightened, eyes narrowing as he opened Walt's file. Thompson, USS Oriskany. 53, saved my old CO's life in the Mekong. 70, dragged him from a burning patrol boat under fire. His voice softened. "I owe that man." Minutes later, black SUVs roared toward the memorial, lights flashing silently. Inside, the ceremony droned on patriotic songs, polished speeches. Walt, still on his bench, clutched the flag, its folds worn from years honoring his lost brother. He didn't see the convoy arrive. General Carter emerged, his presence commanding the plaza. The crowd parted as he strode toward the entrance, where Ethan, the guard, froze. "Where's the veteran you turned away?" Carter's voice was steel. The memorial director, flustered, stammered excuses. Carter's gaze swept the crowd. You honor heroes with words, but lock them out with rules. General Carter's voice echoed through the plaza, silencing the murmurs. Walter Thompson, Silver Star recipient, stood here, and you turned him away. The crowd gasped, cameras clicked. Ethan, the guard, paled, stammering. No ID, sir. Carter cut him off. ID. His scars are his ID. His service outranks your rules. The director, sweating, tried to intervene. A misunderstanding. General Carter's glare silenced him. You've forgotten what honor looks like. A young officer approached Walt on the bench, saluting crisply. Mr. Thompson, General Carter requests your presence. Walt, startled, rose slowly, flag in hand. As he shuffled toward the steps, the crowd parted. Carter met him, saluting sharply. Petty Officer Thompson, I'm Raymond Carter. You saved my CO in 70. I'm here because of you. Walt's eyes glistened. Just did my duty. Son. The general offered his arm. This ceremony needs its true hero. As they ascended the steps, applause erupted. Walt, frail but proud, stood tall, not just an old man, but a sailor reclaimed. The director's apologies faded. Walt's quiet dignity spoke louder. Inside the memorial's grand hall, Walt stood beside General Carter as the crowd rose, their applause a tide of respect. The ceremony paused. All eyes were on the frail sailor, his silver star glinting. Walt spoke softly, voice steady. I'm no hero, just one of many who served. His words, humble yet profound, silenced the room. By morning, Walt's story swept the nation. Viral videos captured Carter's stand and Walt's quiet dignity. News outlets hailed the Savannah salute, sparking a reckoning. The memorial's director resigned. Ethan, the guard, issued a public apology. The board vowed to reform policies. All veterans, ID or not, are welcome. Walt shunned the spotlight, declining interviews. Others deserve it more, he said. Yet, his impact rippled veterans' homes, saw volunteer surges. Schools invited old warriors to speak. A new memorial wing, unsung heroes, honored overlooked veterans, with Walt cutting the ribbon. A bench by the entrance, etched with "For those who served," became sacred ground. Every Sunday, Walt sat there, sharing stories with young and old, a living bridge to history. America learned true honor isn't in medals, but in seeing the warrior within. Months after the Savannah salute, Walt's quiet presence reshaped the city. The bench by the Liberty Veterans Memorial, now called Walt's Bench, drew veterans young and old. On Sundays, Walt, now 90, shared tales of Korea's icy decks and Vietnam's sweltering jungles, his flag always folded beside him. Children listened wide-eyed, veterans nodded, their own memories stirred. The memorial's new wing, Unsung Heroes, displayed photos of forgotten warriors, Walt's among them, his silver star gleaming in a glass case. General Carter visited often, sitting with Walt, their conversations a bridge across generations. The nation hadn't forgotten donations poured into veterans programs. Inspired by Walt's story, schools adopted honor days, inviting elders to share their service. Walt, ever humble, said, "It's not about me. It's about those who didn't come home." One spring morning, under Savannah's blooming oaks, Walt sat quietly, watching families pass. A young sailor approached, saluting. "You've taught us to see, sir." Walt smiled, eyes misty. His legacy wasn't in headlines, but in hearts, reminding America that every veteran carries a story worth honoring, if only we look beyond the surface. By autumn 2024, Walt's story had sparked a movement. See the veteran, across Savannah, Signs bearing the phrase appeared in shops, schools, and churches, urging people to honor hidden heroes. Walt, now a local icon at 90, remained humble, still visiting Walt's bench every Sunday. Veterans joined him, sharing stories of wars past and present, forming a quiet brotherhood under the oaks. Families brought photos of their own veterans, creating a living archive at the Liberty Veterans Memorial. General Carter, nearing retirement, spearheaded a national campaign, inspired by Walt, to train communities in recognizing service beyond IDs. Every veteran carries a story, he told crowds, echoing Walt's wisdom. Schools nationwide adopted the See the Veteran curriculum, teaching children to ask elders about their service. Walt's grandson, inspired, started a podcast, recording veterans' tales, with Walt's soft voice opening each episode. One crisp November evening, Savannah held a candlelit vigil at the memorial. Walt, frail but proud, lit the first candle. "For those we lost," he whispered. The crowd, young and old, echoed his words, their flames a testament to a legacy of honor, kindled by one man's quiet dignity. The Liberty Veterans Memorial became a pilgrimage site, where people shared stories of their own veterans' grandparents, neighbors, strangers. General Carter, now retired, wrote a memoir, dedicating it to Walt. He showed us that courage doesn't fade with age. Schools taught students to listen, not assume. Churches held Veteran Sundays, inviting elders to speak. Walt's lessons spread respect as earned through service, not displayed through polish. One quiet morning, a child left a drawing at Walt's bench, a sailor, flag in hand, with "Thank you" scrawled below. Walt's eyes misted. His life's lesson was simple: look deeper, honor the unseen, and carry their stories forward with dignity. If Walter's story touched your heart, hit that like button to honor his service. Subscribe to join us in celebrating veterans' stories, and share your thoughts in the comments. Have you met a hero like Walt?